Alright, what's up, YouTube? We are back with my boy Danny Nguyen. We're going to be looking at the two Super Shenron lists that performed well in San Diego at the last celebration event. I think this is probably the strongest deck in the format overall as a leader. Danny has a lot more experience with the deck, as you guys know. A lot of you guys know. He piloted the swap version, similar to Marcus's list, similar to this one with the Bardock package at the North Carolina celebration, going I think 6-0 in Swiss, and then losing the top 8 to Dave, who ended up winning the tournament with Broly. And then he also went undefeated in the Gunslinger event with the deck, winning the Victory Strike. So he was one of the pioneers, I guess, of the deck publicly. Obviously, there's other people behind the scenes that were playing the deck. Jordan Beard, who didn't get to obviously showcase the deck as well because he didn't go to that early event. He had to wait till Chicago. But Danny was one of the early players to play the deck. So the main differences, obviously, looking at those two decks real quick, is the blue package. The swap package doesn't play the Preface of Recovery and Sensu Bean, where this package, we call this the Canadian package in my playtest group, just because Jordan Beard kind of pioneered this, and Zuhair, who I talked to a lot, kind of put me onto it prior, so I already kind of knew about it, but I didn't realize all the extent of what it could do and what it added. So Danny, who's obviously more experienced with the deck, is going to pretty much talk about the two versions, and his thoughts on the different deck lists, their benefits to each of them, and their card choices. So let's get into David's deck first.
Yeah, so of course, the main difference is he's playing the blue package, and well, for one thing, we should mention the swap package. When you're playing swap, you're kind of forced to play several cards like Successor. That takes up a lot of deck space. But if you have Bardocks, your swap targets, so it's taking up a lot of space.
Yeah.
So you're not allowed to have as many, say, tech choices in a way. But with the blue version, you just have 8 cards. That's it. That's the whole blue package. And I've even seen versions where it's even a little less. Of course, it's always 4 bean, but you don't have to play Preface. But if you can see in David's deck, he's allowed to have Dragon Ball Seeker Sorbet, couple Krillins, Double Strike. So he has a couple options, and he's able to max out on Radar.
And he's also able to main deck that Nimbus for the mirror match, which you don't see every list playing. So you can tell that's, in my opinion, definitely for the mirror match, and also I guess for that AOD Dende matchup. If you do end up playing that, obviously that's more of a niche deck. You have to play a $150 card in it. Not as many people are playing that as this deck, which probably costs $15. So
yeah,
$20 you can go play a set of Sensu Beans. $20.
Yeah, I really like the third Crisis Crusher. Like this is in San Diego. This is definitely a known deck, and a lot of people playing Borgos. Like Kid Skillless can play Whis and Borgos in both the blue and the yellow version, so they're for sure gonna play it. I really like the 3 Crisis because obviously that hurts the deck a lot. And then Dragon Ball Seeker Sorbet. Turn 2 Awakening with this deck, I feel like it's really hard to lose, because if you're able to do a free Child's Wish and spend all that energy, you'll be so ahead in cards, and your drop will be filled so fast. So that's one of the strengths of the
Turn
blue.
2 Awaken, every single time someone did it on me with this deck, they're so far ahead advantage wise. They're playing an extra Child's Wish for free, drawing an extra card. Now they're 15k, so I can't even pressure them as much in the early game if I'm playing a deck that allows me to pressure them in the early game with 10ks or anything like that. In a mirror match, I can't pressure them. That's another turn I can't be swinging with my Bulmas and pressuring them if I say went first and they went second and turn 2 Awakened. Now my Bulmas, I need a combo on top of them to push for damage. So turn 2 Awakening can just be ridiculous.
Yeah, that's definitely why they're playing Sorbet. So many times you're gonna be ripping through your deck. You're probably gonna keep balls in your opening hand.
Yeah.
And how many times do you have 6 balls by turn 2? You're like, oh dang it! If I had one more ball, I awaken and everything you go off.
Exactly,
Cause
and you don't want to waste a Dragon Radar either. Like, your Dragon
yeah,
Radar should pretty much say pick up 2 Child's Wish 90% of the time. Unless you're digging
yeah,
for a Child's Wish because you just don't have one, you're
yeah,
probably not going to be playing it other than just pick up 2 Child's Wish from your drop because you're just not getting maximum value.
yeah. There's times where you can like radar turn 1 if you know like you haven't activated Dragon Ball yet. Like it's kind of a really heads up play. Like you have to make, but you can like plus really hard with a radar turn 1 before you activate Dragon Ball, because that maximizes the chances of you hitting something.
Yeah,
Uh, and that if you say you like start the game 1 ball and you radar into 2 balls, that's turn 2 awakening instantly, that's nuts. Or just one more extra ball. Like I said, like sometimes how many times you're playing Shenron, you have 6 balls on turn 2, you're like, oh, I'm 1 ball away from awakening, and awakening is just nuts that early.
I feel that for sure.
Yeah. So another advantage of the blue package, of course, is the preface. Like at the beginning, when I was building Super Shenron, this is like one of the first versions that I saw that gave me the idea was the blue version, and obviously Bean is insane, but I just thought preface was pretty bad because you're using Child's Wish on not Bulma, which can feel really bad because Bulma replaces herself. Your Child's Wishing replacing the card right away, and you're milling. It just feels like insane not to be Child's Wishing Explore Bulma. But I realized later on that just the power of Sensu Bean itself is just insane. There's so many ways that Bean can extend your plays, play around certain cards. But yeah, but Preface has Barrier, which is relevant against, say, red decks. With After Image, is that all you got? Even Broly, like it's actually a really relevant that it has a barrier
Yeah,
against many of the meta decks.
I think definitely versus red because versus say the normal swap deck. We're gonna switch over that real quick. With Dependable Dynasty, that's gonna be like the attacker that they're gonna be attacking with a lot. Especially Marcus played 2. You saw older versions of the deck. He played 3 or 4, and they're gonna be maxing out just playing them and swinging. Um, so, is that all you got? Can negate an attack and kill 2 bodies. So that can just really set back the Shenron deck, obviously, tempo wise, where the preface option, if you're playing against red, especially like Baby Vegeta, even, who can play Revenge Death Ball,
Yep,
you can
yep.
safely just play it, swing, and go in with like a champ or something, or just comfortably go in without being able to kill it off with a minus battle card or minus extra card.
Yeah, the barrier is really relevant. But of course, the main advantage of playing blue is Sensu Bean.
Yeah,
There's, like I said, so many ways that it can be used in this deck, and one of the main things that I think it makes it so powerful is this version of the deck maxes out Dragon Radar,
yep,
and that's super nuts because uh, you can radar. Say you have 2 energy, and that's Child's Wish energy. You radar, you grab 2 Child's Wish. You only have 1. That means you can't Child's Wish, but then you just swing with 1 battle card, bean up. Now you can Child's Wish again, and that's just so broken because your turns can go even like longer than
yeah, like
normal.
you can extend like, and just that one energy can just set up so many extensions of plays. Like exactly like you said, open up a Child's Wish, which is gonna bring back a Bulma, draw you an extra card. Those 2 energy are gonna be open. You just got another Child's Wish back, so that leaves another Child's Wish up to bring back another Bulma or preface, something like that. Or even you can bring back Source of Power Goku, something like that. Anything, just bring it back. If you bring back Bulma or preface, again, it readies your energy, so you can extend your plays even further.
Yeah, like obviously there's been a lot of debate in the community about what is broken in this deck per se, but Child's Wish is like
Oh, Child's
pretty
Child's
up
Wish
there.
is yeah. Well, I
Yeah,
think that
like
the mechanic of desire is just it shouldn't be repeatable like that. I also like I don't know why Dragon Radar can pick up 2 desire cards from the drop. That
yeah,
makes no like people are like yeah Dragon Raider's a pot of greed, draw 2 cards. No, picking up 2 Child's from your drop is insane. Like that's
Yeah.
every Dragon Radar is 2 extra copies of Child's Wish. So if I play 4 Child's Wish, 4 Dragon Radar, like
Yeah.
like you can see how this is getting out of hand. Especially when
Yeah.
you Explorer Bulma is and Preface are pretty much making the Child's Wish free every time.
Yeah, I've played both versions of the deck, and I played the blue and the swap version. And with Bean, it's just like old Storm, like full power Storm, back in the day, like a couple months ago, where you look at your hand and you're like, wow, my turn can go on forever.
Yeah.
Like you just keep beaning, keep radaring over and over, and just keep abusing your Child's Wish. And not even like, of course, Sensu Bean also has like defensive like applications. Like we in the mirror match, it could be really relevant to be like say double Sensu Bean on the extra turn. Just yeah.
Yeah, like I think that Sensu being obviously extending the plays offensively is what the main application is, but defensively in the mirror match it can definitely be super useful. Um, and there's also times where you can have an energy up or your 2 energy up, and it can extend your plays with like playing like the Mira battering like Champa, because you can have 2 energy and swing and never mind. I just realized I'm like if you battering you can't Sensu beam. Never mind. I
We're
don't
just
play the
getting
deck.
a whole
I,
section now.
yeah, I don't edit stuff, but I don't play the
Oh,
deck.
sick.
You
All
can't
right, yeah, screw it.
you can't do that. Never mind. This is why we brought in Danny for that
I mean, you could
this
just
deck.
beam. You're saying, okay, here, you swing with something,
You could
and
swing
then you
something else. Yeah,
beam.
you
You
could swing something
restand
else.
2 yellow energy.
Yeah, you could swing at something else. That's true.
No, you do need 3 energy though.
You do
Like
need
say
3. Yeah,
I see where you're going. Okay,
you
if you have
still need
two
3
energy,
energy. Yeah,
you need 3 energy for mirror battering Champa.
yeah,
So that just makes sense. If you have 2 energy, sometimes you can't go off. But if you Bean, Bean's broken. You know, like putting Bean in a deck that already abuses energy to like the max, pretty much. Like this deck abuses energy harder than old Storm did. You know,
yeah. Because
like
Child's
you
Wish
just don't.
is pretty much
Yeah,
free. Like even when you're not using your leader effect, it's essentially free. So you're just getting extra energy to just do more plays, which are already super efficient in value.
yeah. So like just for the we'll go through like the main win condition of this deck, because we're gonna be going through the win condition of the swap version.
Yeah,
But this deck, like, it has several 15Ks. Has a potential of Krillin critical double strike, which is, if you could do it early in the game, that's insane. Like most people aren't gonna be able to defend that early. 25K double strike, and of course Mira battering Champa or East Kai is just the best like finisher in the entire game. Like arguably, there's pretty much nothing you can do, and uh, I like what I learned that after building Super Shenron, which is the most relevant point, is this deck goes. You can rip through your deck so fast, and you're gonna see every single card in your deck. Like outside of like really bad luck, like on average, you're gonna be seeing every single card in your entire deck at least once. So playing one of Mira or like a
yeah.
one of
Except for
battering.
literally that last life. So wherever the 7th card on your deck, typically, wherever the 7th card on my deck is, typically, I'm never gonna see throughout the game. Other than that, I'm gonna see every card.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
so
actually, you can shuffle your life, so technically, it's random. But one of your life, you're not gonna see.
yeah, I mean, like I said, you have to be really unlucky because just the chances of that, like even
Yeah,
if it ends up being say your very last life, on your extra turn you can activate your leader, shuffle your life, have another chance at it. Uh, like even before you take your extra turn, if you haven't already drawn into your Mira, you're gonna take your extra turn, shuffle the Mira that you probably milled, and then like have another chance of drawing it because you're gonna be ripping through your entire deck, playing
yeah,
these Bulmas over and over.
for sure. So like, the one of Mira, I'm normally iffy on one ofs, but due to the deck, like obviously you just see so many cards that if you see Mira, you're just like, I'm gonna hold this. I'm gonna kill him with Champa and battering. You, on the second turn, a lot of time you don't even need battering because they're tapped out from trying to defend. But if they have energy up, all right, cool, battering, you're dead. Just solidify the game. And if they're not killing you with Champa, they have preface with battering or preface with Champa, and they can just go in with all the other 5Ks in their hand and everything. Because usually the opponent's depleted after all the attacks and everything from the storming.
Yeah. One of the like really relevant things I learned about playing this the Super Shenron in general is you have to be very careful how you build your entire deck because if you're clogging too hard on cards that will end up being dead at times, say there's situations where I've been like 16 cards and dropped out of the 20 that you need, and you're like looking at your hand, you're out of milling options, and now you have to start comboing 5Ks. So when you're building the when you're building a deck, you want to like keep the number of non like cards that you can just dump easily. So because like you'll be in those situations like, all right, I have say 4 or 5Ks or something, and then a bunch of other dead cards that you can't get rid of. If you look at most Super Shenron lists nowadays, it's like if you look at if you're the possibility of your hand being like not comboable or like you can't dump the cards, like I could probably count it looks like
He
8
plays
or
six.
so.
He plays six.
Yeah, like very low count. So
And six is being if we're not. I'm not counting 10Ks because I don't want to combo my mirror. I don't want to just combo double strike for no
yeah,
reason. I don't want
yeah,
a battering for no reason. So
yeah. So that's a really important thing to think about when you're building this deck. And one of the last cards I would like to talk about with the list is Source of Power Son Goku. So I've tested this, and this card is absolutely nuts. Just the
yeah,
fact that
I
it's
love
like,
the idea of this card in the deck.
yeah, I think,
Marcus also plays it.
yeah, exactly. I think Source of Power might even go to 2 because it's so nuts. Like, for one, it's a Child's Wish target, so it's not even 3 energy, it's 2. Okay, and when you're doing it, for one, it's like say your life is really high before your extra turn, it would guarantee you take all of your life, no matter what. Like Krillin is obviously a great option to be taking your life, but sometimes they might have Crisis Crusher or they kill it or whatever. But
Yeah, Source of Power
Source of
equals
Power,
4 life. Like, yeah.
yeah, that's 4 20K swings. That's nuts. Going
If you
tall
bean
in
on
a
him too, like
oh
he,
yeah,
like
God,
this deck has the option of beaning.
broken.
Yeah, so like you can just 25, 25, and if you have
Yeah,
another bean on the second turn, 25,
yeah,
25.
yeah,
Like it's so much
exactly.
pressure.
Yeah, it's Source of Power is absolutely nuts. Like you're gonna be like, all right, I'm taking my extra. I'm gonna like you shuffle 20 cards back, whatever, and yeah, you're like, oh, I have another Child's Wish. What do I just keep drawing with Bulma? Not you Source of Power, and it's so much pressure for every single deck. That's so hard to deal with.
Yeah.
All right,
So we swap over to swap deck.
yeah. So
um,
obviously this is based off the version I took to Charlotte. And my idea on how I built the deck was just I didn't like preface, like I said earlier. Like obviously Bean was insane, but I wasn't crazy about preface, and I figured why not just add what's the other card that is free to play in your hand and just like cycle pretty much. And Successor came to mind. And obviously when you think of Successor, you start to think of Storm. And so like Bardock, Goku, several attacks, obviously. And in total, your entire deck, you have 15 cards that just cycle, which is insane.
yeah, like this deck rips through your life pretty quick, obviously, because you're playing Bardock swapping, and with the dependable dynasties, even with Gohan, because Gohan's just a barrier 10K, uh, and or until they are awakened, it's doing the same thing pretty much anyway. If they want to combo out, that's fine. You're attacking them 400 times. It doesn't matter if they combo out a 110K swing. So that and it gives you the being safe to swap up to your 3 drop, which in this version of the deck, obviously, it can just be your win condition. You can also just Child's Wish out the dependable dynasty and then swap up for something. If you don't go into the barrier or whatever, obviously, but it just gives you that option of having the barrier, which the preface still gives you, because against, like, I guess say red still, they're not gonna be able to kill the Gohan, the 10K Gohan with after image or anything like that. He still has barrier.
And the like obvious main difference between the two Super Shenron decks is well, with Marcus's version, he added in the Height of Mastery package, and like I was for one, it's a very low count for 2 3 drops and 3 Height of Masteries. Like obviously successor, you could just search your Gokus, and like we talked about before, you're gonna rip through your life, so you the chances of not, it's literally impossible
Yeah, I
to
even
not
thought
see the
three
3 drop.
height of masteries was not even probably needed. Probably could have went two, but
Yeah, yeah,
the three's just safe.
yeah. That's super safe, and it's gonna be great energy. But
Yeah,
the main strength of Height of Mastery is if you watch Marcus's game in was Chicago singles where he did side it in against Skillless, it helped him win the matchup so hard because for one, when you're playing against Skillless, if they're tapping too much energy to be aggressive on you, playing say their Kid Gokus or playing their Vanillas, that means they have less energy to be defensive against you, and you'll win that game anyways because you're you just play your regular game because they don't have any energy to defend with. So you just play this, just extra turn, kill them, and just spam them because they use all their energy to be aggressive. But on the other hand, like the good skills players, if they know they're against Super Shenron, they're gonna be not gonna be spending as much energy aggressively. There's gonna be many times when they're leaving energy up to be safe so they don't die. And if they're doing that, they're not killing you. So you're allowed to enter your turn 4. So you could go into Height of Mastery, take your extra turn, and swing 4 times with the Height of Mastery.
yeah,
So
and you tap down their energy. If they do have Goku Android 8, you can just tap it down so they can't even combo it. So it's not
yeah,
even a problem. And then you just beat the crap out of them with a 35k. What is he? Triple strike?
triple strike dual attack.
Triple strike dual attack. Yeah, so you get four
Yeah,
swings, 35k. Tap down. So if they sparking negate, they're still taking a life. Like, and they're only negating one of
yeah,
the attacks. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like the Height of Mastery just adds like another level of unfair to the
no,
deck
yeah,
in a way.
I really like this addition because versus decks that you know you don't need to kill them on 3, you're saying,
Yeah,
okay, I'm
exactly.
just gonna kill you on 4, and you're dead. Like, you're just
Yeah.
dead.
I
There's,
mean, you could like, yeah, if you're allowed to go off, if you're allowed to wait till turn 4, it should be over. Like, but even then, you could just take your extra turn, turn 3, and then hide a mastery turn 4 if you want, and that could like come out to win as well.
yeah, like the addition of it gives you an extra way to close the game. The only thing that I thought was odd about Marcus's deck was even with Item Mastery, I think I would have played some number of Champa, um, maybe one less Item Mastery and something else, but like that Item Mastery or Fu are his only double strike or higher
Yeah,
cards in the
it's
deck.
gonna
So
be all singles.
yeah, it's all single attacks, and it gets to a point where it's just a lot harder to close the game with obviously with single attacks than a double strike.
Yeah, I think he he definitely played for the height of mastery when he could, and uh,
No,
like that was just for
I think
that was,
that versus most decks, you can just play for Height of Mastery
yeah,
and just kill them with it.
yeah. And against the matchups that you're not allowed to like height of mastery, like he could go for just ending the game with scientist foo in the end. Like like my original deck list was 2 scientist foo. That was a little crazy. But double scientist foo and then the scientist foo again. That was really fun, but realistically, that's too heavy of a strategy to rely on. Um, so one scientist foo is like a great finisher regardless.
And they also both opted to play a lot of the same tech cards. Obviously, Crisis Crusher, we went over that. You played that card as well. It's just a good card because it
Yeah,
answers your
you have
answers.
to play. You're not
So,
allowed to not play it.
yeah, Scott Dashy will tell you it's terrible in the deck. We had an argument about it.
I wasn't in for that one.
Yeah, that was not a highlight. But so you have to play some number of Crisis Crusher, obviously.
Yeah.
2, 3. You're probably gonna see it. You dig through your deck anyway. I think the 3 is just
Yeah.
you definitely want to see it versus like certain matchups, like versus Kid Goku. If you see it, the matchup's just over. Like they can't really do anything without Goku and Android 8 versus you. Like they have no good early game plays, and if they tap their energy to do like a Krillin to summon 2 bodies, you're like, cool, you just tapped out to summon 2 bodies, like you're dead.
Yeah.
So
One of the like noticeable differences I wanted to mention about the two decks is with the swap version, you're able to charge yellow like easily throughout. The blue version, obviously, you have to charge your like pretty much the first blue you see,
the first
and
preface you see.
ideally it's preface. Sometimes there's times that'll come up where you have to charge bean because you don't see any other blue.
Yeah.
And bean is technically a dead card early in the game. So like obviously you'll probably bean turn 2, but like in the swap version, successor is it's great deck thinning because
It's always live too.
yeah, it's always live. It's gonna thin your deck one more card down, and thinning the deck, this type of deck, one card down is insane because that like you're one card closer to another Dragon Ball. You're one card closer.
You have to think you start with 36 cards, minus 7 Dragon Balls, you're 29 cards. The 7 Dragon Balls draw you 7 cards, 22 cards that you're gonna see without drawing for your turn or anything, without using your Baroque effect, anything like that, just inherently from your Dragon Balls. Search for if any number of personal ambition you see, that's another card that just completely thins. So say you say 3 personal ambitions, it's 19 cards total in your deck without playing any Bardock, any draws for turn.
Yeah, exactly.
No Bulma draws, no Bulma mills. Like you get through your deck so fast.
Yeah, if you watch any like my stream games or Marcus's stream games, you notice that it's important you successor first, personal ambition, and then if you're allowed to, child's wish before you even activate your leader, because there's gonna be situations like say turn 2 where you could start just ripping through your deck with ambitions and successors, and then say you child's wish Bulma, you start milling yourself. Say you mill 1 ball and you were at 4 balls at the beginning of the turn, entering your turn 2. Like, oh, if I mill 1 ball, activate leader, and then you get awaken turn 2, which is nuts.
Yeah,
like we talked about earlier. It's all about sequencing correctly, and like if you're gonna go for odds like that, you gotta maximize keeping the balls in your deck when you're trying to mill 1, and then activate later on.
Exactly. Yeah, it's all about like micromanaging your sequencing, especially in like when you're getting into high level matches and like top cut and like mirror matches where if you're playing the same deck and you're sequencing inefficiently and they're sequencing way more efficiently, they're most likely gonna win.
Yeah, and so we go on to the mirror match. This is a good segue. He runs 2 Flying Nimbus, and Flying Nimbus, Battering are absolutely the key cards in the mirror match. David played 1 Flying Nimbus, but like we said earlier,
he went the opposite swap though. He went 1 Nimbus, 2 Battering.
Yeah, then I'm positive they cited more Flying Nimbus or Batterings.
Yeah, like I'm sure copies of both.
Yeah, but it's also just insane in this deck. Like we were talking about, it thins so hard. Like it's not unreasonable to see like a 1 of Nimbus or something. It like compared to other decks, say like not Super Shenron, like it's kind of insane.
It's very possible that you mill it with Explorer Bulma, but at the same time, there's a very possible chance that you draw it because you're drawing a ton of cards.
At the beginning of your like turn 1, just turn 1, like say 2 ambitions, 2 successors, all your 4 cards deep, activate Dragon Ball, 6 cards deep. Like you know,
Draw some
you're
of the
gonna see
Dragon
it.
Balls, 8 cards deep.
Yeah, exactly. Um, and one of the big things I talked about Marcus about this deck, obviously. Height of Mastery actually hard wins this matchup because when if you're stalling, say you're in a standoff against your opponent, like both opponents are scared to go off because for one, you're if you can't fully kill them or battering their Nimbus when you go for your extra turn, you're gonna lose that game. You
Oh, for
can't. That's
sure.
really risky. That's really risky.
Because
So
if you
sometimes,
flip over to a 10K and they haven't taken their extra turn, it's over. It's over.
yeah,
They are gonna pummel you into the dirt.
yeah. And if they have the Nimbus and say they have Nimbus and battering, and even if you did have battering, then you lost that game. Like there's nothing you can do. But say there's standoffs where like, oh, I'm gonna leave one energy open, I'm scared, or I'm gonna leave two yellows open, I'll pass turn. You pass turn back like 3-4 times, say, and that can definitely happen. Marcus was telling me about when he had a mirror match against Danny Hype. They went to turn 6, I think, and because they both were too scared to go off because like it's dangerous. You know, what if they, well, like I said, what if they have the Nimbus and the battering? Then you probably lost. You know, that's risky. You can't like bank the game on them not having it in the deck that thins so heavily. So with Height of Mastery, you can tap down their yellow energy so they can't Nimbus battering, and that just pretty much seals the deal
Yeah,
instantly.
that's just so good in the mirror match. But I beg to differ. I risk it for the biscuit quite often. Quite often. And I do my quick math. I'm just like, yeah, it's a go for it moment. I'm
He's
just
got two yellow. He's got two yellow. 8 cards in hand. Let's go for it. He don't
yeah.
got it.
My,
He don't
my
got it.
my thought process is if he has it, he wins. If he doesn't, he loses. If I lose, shuffle up, go to game 2. If we're in game 2, good game, bro. You got it. That's just I'm
Uh,
I'm done stressing, overthinking. I'll think enough to where like make a good pod. I'm not gonna be like, oh well, he hasn't used any batterings. He probably plays 2 or something. He plays 2 Nimbus. He hasn't used any of those. He has like 4 cards in his deck. He might have one. There's a
yeah.
decent chance he might have one. I'm not gonna go in, but like,
This dude obviously just net deck Marcus, so he milled that one battering at GG.
yeah. But like, if there's like a 50-50, I'm just like, you got it, you got it.
Yeah.
Just throw it
Well,
out there.
if you're trying to play, the highest level Dragon Ball and you're allowed to have the options of keeping everything open, then yeah, you can keep passing turn back and hold your battering. I mean, I've played the mirror 2 times. 2 times, yeah. And you keep flying Nimbus in your opening hand. It's nuts.
Yeah, it seems super needed on the extra turn.
Yeah,
Super
it's
needed.
insane. Yeah, and
Like if you shut down
uh
an extra turn, there's like, oh well, I lost. So
yeah, so the 2 times I played the mirror match, it was just best of one, and I won the die roll, and just we proceeded like normal. Like I took my extra turn, and I was digging for the battering, obviously, but I ended up milling it both games, and so in both players they saved their Nimbus for my extra turn, but the way I was attacking him, I made sure that I didn't like combo much, so my hand was huge. And so when I did enter the extra turn, like I took the risk of going into extra turn, see if they have it, they have it. They lose, they lose if they don't. Um, but their hand was so small from like say a comboing.
yeah,
Um, so when they entered their turn, they Nimbus me. My bad. They Nimbus me on my extra turn, which the correct play. Uh, and I still had a 10 card hand while they just discarded 2 to their Nimbus. They went down to like 5-6 cards in hand or so, like
plus I have to
really low.
combo after that.
Yeah, and before the extra turn, they're trying to save their Nimbus for the extra turn. So on the turn before your extra turn, you're able to pressure them, and they're dropping cards and not drop their life too low. So on their extra turn, I had Nimbus, and they had around, I counted their drop, and it was under 15 cards both times, and if you like, you can kind of calculate it out, like their potential of how much they can mill possibly, and plus their hands are really low, in those situations. So just Nimbus, and they didn't have battering because their hand was tiny as hell, and they couldn't go off both times, and I just won right after.
Yeah, like, because they're not going to be able to kill you. If they have like 3-4 cards in their hand, and you have 10 cards, you're just like, okay, like, I'm a 10k, but like, you have 3 cards in your hand. I'm just going to out-combo you if you push.
Yeah, it's a crazy matchup, but like we're going back to the swap deck, Height of Mastery can just put it over the top. Like, I mean, they have the Nimbus, but they don't have energy, so it's over.
Yeah, for sure. Like
I
that.
mean, yeah. Like if I go for the extra turn 3, say I had Height of Mastery, he saved the Nimbus for nothing because his energy would be tapped down. You know.
And like, even if they Nimbus had, like, for some reason they have 4 energy up, you're like, Hide of Mastery, tap down 3, and then you're like, swing. You're like, alright, Nimbus, discard a card. I'm like, alright, cool. Swing with Hide of Mastery. I'll combo my 35k, okay? How many cards do you have now? You just discarded 2 for
Yeah.
Nimbus, like 4, 5 cards to out combo me, because you were tapped down, so like, unless you have all your super combos, like, you're
Yeah.
discarding like 5, 6 cards. Like, you have no cards. Pass. Like, go ahead.
Yeah. It's really when you're talking about these two like combo OTK type
And
decks.
that's only if you get 1 turn with Hydro Master. If you get 2 turns, they're still dead. Like, there's just
Yeah.
nothing they can do.
I mean, that's out of the question. Yeah, it's dead.
Like,
but if you guys notice, in Charlotte, I took Temporal Rescue Trunks super combo, and they both use Master Roshi. I realized afterwards, the only time Temporal Rescue can be better is
it's
if you're
not better.
playing.
It's not better.
Okay, yeah, it's probably not better, but the only time it is if you're playing a really aggressive deck like Broly, and they get to go first, and they get to pressure you with their fat 25k double strikes or whatever, their big Brolys.
Yeah,
You could out combo it, but
the fat
yeah, pretty
drums.
much Roshi
Drum.
is really good. You're cutting your own life down to 4 easily. When you ultimate, your sparking goes down like under 5, so you can't super combo. After you overwhelm, you can't super combo, and you can't draw. So Roshi, for the most part, is just the better super combo. And I definitely should have played it for Charlotte.
Yeah. But, I mean, I don't think it makes, like, a huge difference, but it can. Like, because also you play Tufu, so, like, you're
Yeah,
overwhelming more, but, I mean, I don't know.
yeah, that's why it made a big difference for me. I think more of a difference because I was overwhelming so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like just to get the 7 overwhelm 7, sometimes I would like have to dump some like, so the sparking became even harder to get to.
Yeah, and also you were playing the swap package, so you're definitely going to be at lower than 4 life early, so.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and to make room for the Height of Mastery package, Marcus cut Bardock to 2, which I really liked because Bardock was already at 3. With Shenron base decks, for one, you can have balls in your life, which
I'm
you
pretty
know
sure
you're just have
when
to
you
accept
sent
it.
me this deck, I told you to play 2, but I'm almost positive. Like, almost positive, but.
Yeah, I played 3. Um, two is like probably the perfect number. You want to see Bardock, but you only need to see 1, and
You have
you're
4 successors, 2 Bardocks, 6
yeah,
things. You're already. We talked about the deck thinning. Like,
yeah,
you're gonna see a copy of it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, man. This deck's super fun.
It's super
There's
degenerate.
Yeah, super degenerate. You know, there's been tons of debate in the community talking about the deck.
No, they should fix the desire mechanic for sure. Um, it's just a terrible. Don't I have to think out wish leaders have been a awful addition to the game since they came out. Not because like the idea is super cool. Whoever designed Child's Wish and World's Peace, no, those cards, please get them out of here. Child's Wish is Monster Reborn. I don't know why they thought that was a fair
I
card.
mean, it might be better in Monster Born.
I mean,
right now.
Monster Reborn is just always free. This is like, yeah, I can play Dragon Radar, and it's like flipping Magician of Faith twice and picking up Monster Reborn twice. Like, that's pretty freaking broken. But like, Monster Reborn's free all the time, so it's more like Child's Wish. Child's Wish is literally like Monster Reborn in this deck. You're just like, oh cool, reborn, 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 reborn. Like
Uh,
this is fair.
Yo, remember, your boy was Child's Wishing of Explorer Bulma since day one. You remember that, right?
So you played that at Nats, right?
Yep.
That was so bad.
OG Child's Wish Explorer Bulma, yo.
So bad. So
Yeah.
like overall, which version do you think is better in a vacuum, and what version do you think is better like taking into account the mirror match? Because if you think this deck's just the best deck in the format, which I do, you have to think as we move forward in the format, you're going to see it more and more, and you're going to see the mirror match more and more. So like at Chicago, I luckily didn't see any in Team Wars. I don't think. Like me sitting against it, I don't. I don't think I played against it. Luckily, because I would have got stopped. I think this one of my teammates had to play against it. I think that Anthony played against it, and
he lost once.
He lost in Swiss to Jordan Beard. At seat A, and then in top 8, the Angels in the outfield miracle. Like I don't even know how that happened. Like shoot. Hail Mary, but
swap is better because like some of the points I was talking to about, like a lot of the events lately has showed that skillless is the most represented deck. It's just like a super safe deck.
It's super value. It's like like Pan. You could see Pan has been a super like staple since she came out in the format. Like everyone's loved Pan. She's been like the most represented red leader for sure. Not only because she's good, but people just like the way she plays. I love the way she plays. Skillless is literally like Pan on crack. It's just like all my cards are just super value. Like my leader effect is broken, absurdly broken. It's like, oh, cool, draw a card every turn. I have a 15k leader. I awaken at 6 for some absurd reason.
Awaken at 6 is off the wall.
In which case I can just now filter even more. Like that leader is amazing. Yeah. I wrote an article. Played that. That deck's super fun as well. I mean, I think Super Shenron is just better. Obviously, it's just degenerate, but. Yeah. Skillless, I think, is definitely going to be a staple in the format for a while. I think that you're definitely going to see that deck just like we saw Pan. Like, I don't think it's going anywhere. Even without, like, much additional support, I think that its core engine is just solid enough to stand the test of time. Like, if you take out the degeneracy that is Child's Wish out of the format right now, Skillless is, like, by far the best deck, right? Or Broly.
Yeah, probably shoot up to, like, top deck.
Yeah, it's like that or Broly. Broly's... If you put Broly in the hands of a good player, I think it's really up there. I think that... Not to, like, say that the players are bad. They're not... People aren't utilizing the deck correctly. I think that, like, Shad from Canada is super good at Broly. I think there's, like, a few other players, like, obviously Dave, he won Charlotte. Like, obviously, good player. Great player, actually. Probably every event he's been to. He smoked you. Smoked you. The only time he played me, he smoked me. So, yeah, he's a good player. Like, people like that are showing, like Kevin, who won Chicago, like, they're showing that, like, the deck is really good if it's piloted by a good player, but it's not, like, just a dominating deck. Like, you don't just see 10 Brolys in top cut at any event. No event have you seen, I think, one top Chicago and I think 2 top Charlotte, maybe 1. Might have just been Dave top Charlotte and ended up winning. San Jose, I don't remember the whole Top Cup breakdown. I didn't watch.
Charlotte was really new, though. The format was, like...
Yeah, it was literally brand new.
Solved at all.
Yeah, but, like... I'm still counting that as an event in the format. It was still
like, Skillless, every single event so far, Skillless has been, like...
The most represented deck.
Most represented deck.
I think that it probably will be the most represented deck at Dallas. In top cut, maybe not. I think we're going to see a lot more Super Shenron just due to it winning and getting second at the last event.
Yeah.
So obviously people are going to now realize, okay, it's been doing well, but it hasn't won. Now it won and got second, and it's just consistently up there. But I do think this is a higher skill cap deck. So we're going to see players like Marcus, who I know is going to Dallas. If he doesn't play this deck, I'd be mind blown. Like
Yeah.
he just won with it. It's the same exact format.
Yeah.
I expect him to sleep up like, if not this 50 cards, like
Pretty close.
very similar to this 50 cards.
Yeah.
Because not only with his success, but I think it's a really good meta call, and I think it's going to continue to have success because nothing really answers it. Like you can play cards that are good versus it, but they don't answer it. And the reason why it's so broken is because if they don't go off and kill you, you just can't go and kill them. Like their hand's huge, and if you
Yeah.
try and kill them, what you're not going to, they are going to kill you. Like for
Yeah.
sure, they're killing you on the crackback. So like you literally have to pray. Like you sit there and it's like, all right, they're gonna go off, and I'm gonna hope that I survive, and then kill them on the crackback. That's like how 90% of the games go. And Hunted Master's just like, if you sit there and let me go off, you're dead. Like I'm just gonna play height, and the game's over. So
Yeah.
that's what I think that like that addition to the deck is just makes it so hard to play around. Like you can't
Yeah.
just sit there like traditionally I could sit there and be like, all right, now I have like 4 energy when they go off. Like I have way
Yeah.
more chance of surviving defensively. If they go play height, you have 1 energy again or something. I'm like, oh, thumb up my ass, I'm dead.
Yeah. Okay, I played against Frisco at Charlotte, and he played the Red Gogeta BR deck, and I think he had around 19 cards in hand when I went off turn 3, and at the end of it, he had 0 cards, but I did kill him. But I had 10 cards to 0 because he had to combo his entire hand to survive.
Yeah, and that
And
deck's even still all 5Ks.
yeah, I just passed turn and he couldn't kill me. Passed I actually 2 turns unawakened, but he couldn't kill me because my hand was just way bigger than his.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to yeah, like the height of mastery is why I think the swap version is better. It's great against Skilless, which arguably one of the closer matchups with Super Shenron, just because of its defensive capabilities and just having so much combo power and being able to survive with Nimbus and Senzu Bean, depending on what version you play. But Height of Mastery just puts it over the top against that matchup, like we were talking about earlier. The mirror match, being able like tapping down so they can't Nimbus battering, it's just huge.
Yeah, like Bean's obviously good defensively, but I think if you have Nimbus battering, you can just sit there and wait for your height, and you're just gonna kill them every time. So
Yeah, exactly.
I just think that it adds an element that the deck really needed to just like it was already degenerate early because it just the early game pressure was just insane. But now it just has that factor if you don't kill me, I'm for certain gonna kill you. And also, noted we didn't have the side decks here, but Marcus side decks Victory Strike, so you can go into height and then
Yeah.
Victory Strike and just kill them. Take 2 turns of
Yeah.
Victory Strike and
Yeah, David actually side decked Height of Mastery uh, as well, but he obviously his deck was way tighter, and
yeah,
he can't just successor for the
yeah.
pieces, and he didn't
You can't
play.
put the whole package in as
Yeah,
easily.
exactly. He had to take up 6 slots, and but it was that good that he decided to play it because I'm guessing he knows that it's just so good against several matchups that you can play against, like Janemba, Skillless, the mirror match. Like Skillless, like I said, like we were talking about, most represented deck, and that's why Height of Mastery is just arguably too powerful not to main deck now.
Yeah, I think that going forward, it's definitely the version that you're gonna see have the most success. It just has the highest ceiling, like overall. I think that pretty much wraps up Super Shenron. I think it is the best deck in the format currently. Um, the power booster cards didn't change anything really. The movie or video game promos didn't change anything. I actually don't think either of those cards are very good.
It's
So,
because it costs 4 energy, man. Turn 4 is too late.
oh yeah, like at first I thought that Gogeta was sick. I'm like, oh, this card's super sick. I'm like, I have to be a 2 life and it's a 4 drop.
Yeah.
No, I'm probably gonna be dead. Like, it's very niche where it's like I survived whatever. I'm at 2 life. Or with the Goku Vegeta later, you can just not awaken, go down to 2 life, play it, and then awaken, and have the energy up and everything. That's kind of cool. Still don't know how great it is. So I think like that he's like kind of cool. The movie promo leader, I don't like how it has to self awaken. I think that if you're playing that leader, you're not playing it with the Gogeta package. Like the Goku Vegeta, it's just that you don't
Yeah.
have enough room to play that package and play cards to self awaken. Because if you
Yeah.
don't, they're just not going to awaken you, and you're just going to sit there with your thumb up your ass. Or the other leader can self awaken and just filter your deck way more. So I just don't see a reason to play that leader.
Yeah.
Like
But
the inherent double strike is the only thing that's like remotely appealing on it.
yeah.
And I,
But feel free to hit us up anytime, guys. More questions. We tried to cover a lot of like points between all the decks, but
and on top of
the
this video as well, so this video is obviously going on YouTube. I'm gonna write an article as well about Super Shenron for the Patreon, so I'll link that down below. You guys can check that out. That article will also be another free article. We're gonna continue that for the next few. Just to, keep improving. Let a lot more people see the content. Get an idea of what it's all about. So hope that you guys enjoy that. Try a little bit more in depth. We did talk about a good amount of the intricacy of the deck, but kind of just go into a little bit more of it, uh, the ins and outs. I would say. You wanna say anything? Any closers, Danny?
shout out to all my friends,
Shout
teammates.
shout out to
Like,
my
not
friends.
Ryan. Shout out to my entire team: Jordan, Anthony, Chris Sock. That's about it. Um, definitely not Ryan Severin.
Damn.
And yo,
Shots fired.
T4T.
Shots fired.
T4T. Yo.
T14 #1.
Yeah.
Alright. Until next time, thank you, Danny, for coming on, helping educate. We're out. Peace.